Hey guys, David Pingree here with Vital MX. Today we've got a cool project. It's a 2020 Husqvarna TC250. And we wanted to take an approach with this bike of let's see how good of a bike we can build on a budget. We did this with a 450 motocross bike, so we wanted to try it with a two-stroke. And this bike is actually the perfect one to do it with because it's a really strong engine, just in stock trim. And with a few little tweaks, you can turn this thing into a really potent race bike or just something you can go out and have fun on the weekends. So starters, we didn't do anything to the motor. This thing was right off the showroom floor, bone stock. We left it that way, left the pipe. You can get some more horsepower out of a, like if we would have matched a Pro Circuit pipe to the silencer we used. Could have bumped the numbers up a little bit, but again, we were trying to keep it definitely on a budget. So the stock one looks cool. It's got the chrome plating and it works pretty well. We just paired that up with a Pro Circuit silencer, and that just sharpens up the sound, a little bit better weight, and a little bit better performance. And we also put in a Moto Tassinari V-Force reed block. And those two things were all we did to this bike in terms of performance. I wanted to make sure my contact points were effective. Okay, so we left the bars that are on it stock. They come with nice Pro tapers. They're good. ODI lock-on grips, great grips. I put on Pro pegs from Works Connection, titanium foot pegs, which you don't have to do. You could take the stock ones, get a rat tail file and sharpen them all up, and those things are decent. We did Nihilo Concepts frame grip. I did lever grip on the grips as well, so I got a good feel of those. And then a Moto seat cover with some ribs on there. Keeps me in place. And those are all my contact points. They're all money. As usual, we got Dunlop tires on here, and it's my go-to. I would probably prefer the 53 front, which has become my new favorite. We got 33s on here. And then what I focused on was getting this thing to handle well. Like with any bike, the better these things handle, the more fun you have. You can relax and just get more out of the bike with less effort. So I had done this exact same kit on a bike last year or the year before with Pro Circuit, and it's a spring conversion kit. The WP air fork is definitely the best version of an air fork, but for me, I always prefer a spring. So this conversion kit is awesome because it actually acts as a hybrid. They leave a valve on there where you can actually still add some air. There is one chamber. If you want to add a little bit more progression to the compression stroke, you can. I'm running it at 0. I don't like any of that. For me, I'd rather add some oil if I need it firmer, but it gives you that solid, planted, consistent feel of a spring fork that I prefer over an air fork all day long. Revalved the shock to my settings and specs, and we did the link arm and knuckle also from Pro Circuit. And that just, I can't tell you how much better that makes the bike feel in terms of the progression of it, the absorption of small bumps, and then getting it to settle in it turns. The whole bike just kind of sits into a rut or a berm, and you just feel like you're hooked up on a rail. A couple other things we did. The wheel set, bone stock. Chain sprocket stock. It comes with a black sprocket, a good chain. There's really no reason to change it until they wear out. So that's what's cool about this bike. It comes with great parts. We got UFO plastic on there, and I wanted to really have it, have a cool look to it, since we weren't going to throw any money into the engine or anything else. So we've got some Nihilo Concepts parts on here, a couple of the brake caps. We did the rear brake pedal tip in a blue. And a couple little pieces like that from Nihilo Concepts. They make great parts. Decal Works graphics on the UFO plastic. And man, that's it. Pro Circuit suspension, Pro Circuit silencer, and we're ready to go. With any two-stroke, with any motocross bike, right? Like you just want that thing to be stable and to be consistent and to never wonder what it's gonna do. And that's exactly how I would describe this stuff. The motor's really strong. And even everyone that was out, here today with us, just commenting on, man, that thing sounds nasty. It's just got a really throaty sound. And I'm a big believer in these Pro Circuit silencers. They just have a tone to them that's very deep and barky. And it's fun to ride, makes it really fun to ride. But the power on these, what's really impressive is the roll-on. A lot of older two-strokes, or if you're thinking back to the 80s and 90 era, even a good setup, you had to kind of snap the clutch a little bit to get it to jump, and you just don't have to on these. You can really roll these on, and the power's right there. And there was a cool trick, and I got to credit Jamie over at Twisted Development for helping us steer us in this direction. These bikes have a power valve adjuster. On the right side, it's a little square. It takes a specific tool to do it. You can just jam a flat blade screwdriver in there and adjust it. But they come turned all the way in, and it's just a tension around the power valve to hold it closed longer. And so the more you dial that out, the less tension on that spring, and the power valve will open sooner. And so what you get with it, the way it comes stock, which is turned all the way in, is a really good throttle response and a really smooth application of power. If you're riding maybe off-road where it's slick, or a really hard slick, dry slick motocross track, you may like it further in, but we were told, Jamie said, spin that thing all the way out and see what you think, because he just recommended that. He thought I'd like it. And sure enough, it just makes the power a little bit more fun, a little bit more aggressive. It definitely comes on a little harder and quicker. I thought it was more fun, and you don't lose anything up top. There is no really negative side to it unless it's just a little too aggressive for you. But it's a really cool tool for tuning the power. These bikes also come with one other adjustment, and that is 2 different maps. And that's something, again, that other brands don't have. Position 1 is stock, the second one is slightly more aggressive. It's a subtle difference on the track, but definitely, again, play with that. It's cool to just have some different options, you know, whether it's different track conditions or the type of racing you're doing, can definitely make a difference for you, and just gives you some tunability on your bike. So I was really impressed with, one, how little we had to do to this thing. And obviously you don't need the plastic and all that stuff if you don't want it, if you're trying to just do it on a strict budget. But as far as performance products and what we did to this thing, it's very minimal. For not that many dollars, you can have a bike that is really competitive. And I would love to see promoters around the country and the world go into a straight up 250cc class, where I think this is very competitive with a 254 stroke. It's definitely a little bit harder to ride. You got to be on your toes a little bit. But for someone who's trying to go racing on a budget, this is a great solution. So I'm really excited to get some more time on this. Thanks to Husqvarna for letting us use this bike. Super impressed with all the parts on here. Thank you to Pro Circuit. This suspension, Bones came out and helped us kind of get it tuned in today, and just a really cool setup. If you're looking for an improvement to your WP Air Fork, look into this spring conversion kit, worth every penny. So thank you to all the companies involved. This has been a whole lot of fun. And we're gonna hopefully get some more laps on this thing in the near future on some other tracks. But until then, thank you to everybody for watching. We'll see you guys on the next Race Shop Build.